Alright, today's video we're going to talk about every item in Mario Kart Deluxe and how to use it optimally. There's a number of items that you can actually use in this game, so if you want to see where all the items that you can use, you want to go down to the main menu, and you want to scroll down to info, which is the little toad, kind of like crossing his arm. Go into here, it gives you like a driving techniques, items, battles, whatever. We're going to go to items, see the items. Now, there is a number of items in this game. Obviously, there's one, we'll count them here so I don't miscount and be embarrassed. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. 23 items in the game of Mario Kart Deluxe. That's how many items there are that you can obtain. Although, note that only one of these items here are not in racing, only in battle, which is very unfortunate, and it's specifically the feather. The feather is only available in battle mode. I wish this was actually in racing. This would change things a lot, and it'd be very fun to have in the racing mechanic. But for some reason, out of the 23 items that are available, this is the only one not available in racing mode. Very awkward that they excluded it. Could have been done many different things on there. I'll actually leave. Actually, since we're talking about it, I'll talk about what I would like to see this specific item feather in the racing mode, and because I've used it in battle mode before, and we'll read the description, and I'll say what you can actually use it if it was in racing. So, the feather launches your vehicle into the air, avoiding bananas and shells. Hit an opponent during the jump to steal one of their balloons. Cool and all, right? How did I get? Oh, literally, I just grinded the game. That's all I got in maximum. I just grinded the game, got really good. That's how you get it. So in terms of feather, I feel like in racing, this would have been a fantastic thing to have because you can jump over green shells, you can jump over bananas, you can jump over certain obstacles while you're racing. I think the fact that they only limited this to battle mode makes it really awkward. You always thought it was a glitch that had maximum? No. I just play a lot. I have like over 2,000 hours. Okay, so carrying on, we're gonna actually go for top line down. So a banana, the most simplest item in Mario Kart Deluxe. The description is obviously I love how it's a little smiley face and it's like hello, I'm a banana. Like how they added that in. We'll send anyone who hits it into a spin. Hold L to drag it and back into your vehicle. Now. A banana is probably your best friend in really first place. It's probably one of the best items to get beyond like a shell or you know, a super horn. But it's one of your good items because it's a defensive item. My main advice, if you ever get this item and you are in front of the pack, you don't want to drag it. You want to just hold it, or even better, you have a coin and then the banana. So that way, if a boo is inactive, it will take your coin, and then you can have a banana to protect you for something else. So that's how you optimally use a banana, in terms of if you're in front of the pack. If you are mid-pack, you basically, if you see use your back camera. If you see people with a red shell, just start dragging it. Like you just have to, you know, someone's gonna throw a red, or something's gonna be thrown at you. You need some kind of protection. If it's panicky, it's what you gotta do. You can use it offensive as well. I've done banana snipes before. They're in my montages. You can find them later. Ideally, you don't do that because there's very high risk and high reward. So the risk is that if you go for a banana snipe and you're in second place and you go for first and you miss, and then you don't have anything to defend you, and then the guy behind you hits you with a red shell, yeah, it's GG's. You'll probably get ninth that race. So that's happened to me before. Don't do that. So the best thing to do is really keep it defensive. Really make sure that it is your secondary item slot, and you have something that in case a boo can take, so you can have a defensive on there. Now, when we go to triple bananas, oddly enough, triple bananas are worse than single bananas, in my opinion. The reason why is because they spin around you, but there's gaps in between the bananas. You can still get hit by a red shell or a green shell, or a fireball. So like the bananas themselves, the triple bananas really suck in this game because you have to basically release it to hit any shells that are coming towards you red shell wise, or you do what I do with the bananas. Honestly, I just run into people, which is like one of the fun ways to do with the triple bananas. But even then, if you have a triple banana and someone next to you has triple greens, and you guys are side by side, sometimes you can just get hit. It's a really weird thing. The gaps are actually mess you up. It's very frustrating. So honestly, when it comes to triple bananas, you can hold on to them, or you can just spam it, try to get other bananas. Ideally, what you want to do is, if a red shell is coming towards you, you have to time right by pressing L, so one of it is placed right as the red shell is coming. That's the only advice I give you it. And I don't like triple bananas. I think they're worse than the single bananas. Green shells. Single green shells. The description says, green shells travel in a straight line and knock over the first driver they hit. Hold L to aim it from the back of your vehicle. Now, in terms of the green shells themselves, they're probably one of my I love green shells. I think they're super fun because they're very versatile. It's very simple. You throw it ahead of you. You try to angle it. Like if you're good at billiards or pool, same kind of concept. You have once you get used to it, you'll get used to it. Your racer has a straight line ahead, and then you can actually launch it and snipe people, like snipe. Like, it's actually easier to side snipe someone as you're turning, given that you know what their line are, and then you essentially time it. Once you play the game enough, you'll get that down. Now, the thing is with green shells, there is something, it is a good defensive item and an offensive item. One of the offensive secret stats they don't tell you about the game is that green shells have something called smart bouncing, which is essentially, if you throw a green shell off a wall, when it hits a wall, every time it hits a wall, there's like a maximum amount of time to hit a wall. I think it's like 5 or 6 times it can hit a wall. But every time it hits a wall, it attains a slight homing effect to the nearest racer to it. So it will, not like a red shell go after someone, but it will bounce, and if there's someone in front of you and you shoot to the angle of the wall, it will hit that person. It will just go for them. So you actually want to use that to your advantage in any levels that have tight walls. I think, in my opinion, the Booster Course DLC pass, there's a lot of those courses that when I tried them out in Mario Kart Tour, they have a lot of walls. So you can have a lot of green shells that have smart bouncing. You just have to be very careful with that as you're racing, but you also have to be cognizant of that you can actually use that to your advantage. So that's one of the secret stats they don't tell you in the game, but it does happen a lot. So if you ever get hit randomly by a green shell and you're in a level where there's a lot of walls, it's likely that that person wasn't really that good of an aim. It was just like the green shell decided to hit you smart bounce-wise. But yeah, great offensive item, great defensive item. Now, triple greens. The resistance is three shells that spin around your vehicle. You press L to fire one of them in a straight line. You can fire them forward or backwards. So people back their green. People always usually back these. The thing is, what sucks about triple greens, same thing like the bananas, they spin around you, but there's gaps. You can still get hit by, believe it or not, I've had triple greens before in a tournament where I've gotten hit by a banana or a red shell through my triple greens, and you're just like, really? Because the gap is so weird in this game. But the best way to use these specifically is honestly defensive. Offensive is difficult because if you throw two of them, sometimes your green shells can clash, and then you're left with nothing, or sometimes they can hit you. So you ideally want to, when you have these, just look at your back camera. If anybody has any reds or anything, you want to just back and hit them. That's the best thing you can do. Or you just retain it, try to bump into people, but it can be difficult. I don't like this item. I get very frustrated when I get it. Now, red shell. Everybody knows red shell. Classic item. Red shells lock onto and pursue the vehicle in front of you, knocking over the first driver by the hit. Hold L to aim it in front, in the back, and from the back of your vehicle. So you can drag these, you can hold them, you can back reds. It's similar to greens. It doesn't home. So if you throw a red back, it won't home on the bad person behind you. It'll just go straight line. So red shells, obviously, pretty simple concept. It throws the person in front of you. Now, in terms of item awareness, you don't want to throw your red shells too fast because you want to look behind you. So if you're in racing and you see someone behind you with a red shell and you have a red shell, they're probably waiting for you to throw it and then they'll throw yours. So you just want to be careful. You just want to make sure you have a defensive option, but you also want to make sure you take out first as well. So there's an unwritten rule that if you're better racers, most people will. It's not teaming. It's just the way racers are. It's the same thing in NASCAR and Formula 1. Is that you don't go after second place. That's not That's not what you like. You're not fighting for second. You're fighting for first. So ideally, you want to make sure first place is brought back. So that's like an unwritten rule when you're like with better drivers. But when it comes to the reds, honestly, just throw them when you can. You have to be super careful because if you throw them a little bit too close to someone next to you, so if you're in a drag race with someone, and you're like first and second, and you throw it and they're here, your red shell will just won't go after him. It will just go forward. So a smart racer will slow down a little bit, so in anticipation of that. I've done that yesterday at a tournament, which was funny. But what you want to do is, if you have a red and you're in your drag race with someone, slow down just a tiny bit, so that way that you want to make sure that their back tire is in your vision, because as long as you see their back tire a little bit, you should be able to throw the red and it should connect with them. Sometimes if you are close enough but far enough away and you throw a red, the red can actually do something really weird, which is it spawns kind of behind you to the right. And sometimes if it spawns perfectly, even if they're dragging a green, it can hit them. It's really frustrating if you get hit by that. I've gotten hit by that before, and I get pissed. But if someone does that, like, dude, they just outplayed you. Like they knew that you had a defensive item, and they just wanted to make sure the red shell spawned right in the right time, and you get hit. So that's how the red shell works. Obviously, if you throw it back, operate same as the green. Now, triple reds, same thing I said with triple bananas and triple greens. We'll read the description real quick. 3 shells that spin around your vehicle. Press L to fire one of them at the vehicle in front of you. Honestly, when you get triple reds, if you're in second place, this is the best place to get these triple reds. Because you essentially, the game is telling you, hey, the dude in first, or girl, or them, is so far ahead. We're giving you 3 red shells. Go ahead and take them out. What you want to do is essentially, don't spam them. The problem is, I see a lot of like newer players, they'll just press L as fast as they can. The problem is if you do that, your red shells will clash. And then you're not hitting that person. You're giving that person 1 red shell. What you want to do is if you're in second place, or even any place and you want to hit someone in front of you properly, and you have multiple defensive items, you take your controller. I'm using game controller, so it's a little different. You press L, you wait, like, just count in your head 1 Mississippi. 1 Mississippi, throw another red. 1 Mississippi, throw another red. The reason why you do that is because if someone's, say I'm in second place, and first place has a super horn and a banana. They have 2 defensive items. I don't know the second defensive item. I know they have 1 defensive item. What you want to do is make sure the first red shell connects with the banana. And then, if they have another one, hopefully the second red will connect with them. Or they'll use their other defensive item, then they're left, defensive, and you can hit them with the 3rd red shell. So you want to make sure you don't spam them too fast. You can spam these back. Honestly, I would never spam these back in the free-for-all. Doesn't make any sense. If you do that in a free-for-all, you're fucking weird, dude. You're teaming or something. Like, that's fucking weird. That's happened to me before. I'm in a free-for-all tournament, someone backs reds, like triple reds. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Are you racing? Like, I guess not. But yeah. I mean, overall though, triple reds are slightly better than single reds as long as you're in second place. If you're not in second place, these things suck, dude. Because I've gotten these in like 7th place before, and I'm like, shit. Like, poor 6th place is chilling with triple mushrooms, and they're just gonna fucking die. So sometimes you're just in a rock and a hard place with these. Okay, now, a spiny shell, or blue shell, as most people know it. So, we'll read the description of how they describe a spiny shell. It pursues the driver in first place, knocking over any other vehicles it hits along the way. This one won't stop until it catches up with the leader. Now, that's a key, that last line is super key. The reason why is because it catches up to the leader. So if you attain this item, you will likely only get this item in I believe it's like 5th through 9th or something. You rarely get this in second place, third place. If you get these in like a high placing spot, it's likely because you're in a map that has a cannon, and the cannon makes this distance magnifier. It's all fucking weird, but either way, if you get this item, just throw it immediately. There's no reason to hold on to it, because it's likely the fact that you got this item because first place is really far ahead, and it's likely in play. Also in play in the race right now, there's likely also a shock, which is a lightning bolt. So you don't want to not throw the blue. You want to throw the blue immediately. Like there's no like just throw it, because if someone has a lightning bolt, they essentially, and they used it before you get to use this, you lose the spiny shell or the blue shell, and the front person's gone. That happens a lot in like lower level lobbies, so that's why you always want to use it. Now, when it comes to just a key thing about the blue shell is it will follow a certain path and knock people over. The knocking over bit is more of like a, it's not like a green shell hit or a red shell hit or an actual blue shell hit. It's basically like a banana. You just get like popped up and you lose some momentum, but not too much. So it's not detrimental, but it can knock you off anti-gravity paths. So you have to be very careful if you see a blue shell, spiny shell coming behind you. You also want to make sure that a key thing on the spiny shell is if it's thrown, it shows up on the mini map. That's why I made a video earlier this week about how to dodge a spiny shell and a blue shell. One of the key factors that I neglected to mention is that if a spiny shell is thrown, it will always show in the minimap. So you always want to pay attention to the minimap, and it'll show coming towards you. That's why a lot of people are very hyper aware when they're in higher level lobbies that like, oh, something's coming, I better have a dodge. Or sometimes people slow down. If you slow down, you're kind of just you're putting yourself at higher risk. It's not the most optimal way to do it. But TLDR on spiny shell, throw it, or you lose it sometimes. Okay, Bob-omb. Bob-omb is one of my favorite items. I do have my little dude here, my little Bob-omb. I have my little Bob-omb. You only get this item in, I believe, first or second, and so it's first, second, or maybe third sometimes, depending. But it will read the description. Bob-omb explode a short time after use or on impact with a vehicle. Anyone caught in the blast spins out of control or gets knocked over. Hold L to aim the back of your vehicle. So with Bob-ombs, if you get it, it is very important that you don't drag it. Because the reason why you don't want to drag Bob-omb is because if someone behind you has a red shell or a boomerang, or they bump into you, it can explode and hurt you and that person. It happened to me yesterday in tournament. I had a Bob-omb and I was in the glider part and I wanted to toss it in front of me to hit first place so we can all win. But the individual behind me decided to hit me with a boomerang, not seeing that I was aiming for someone, not going for someone, because I was just dragging to make sure I just toss it. But it was like a split second, so in that split second, I got hit, the person behind me got hit, and it was just like, well, great. So that's one way that can backfire pretty bad. In general, what you want to do with Bob-ombs is, if you have it in first, just and the red shell's coming at you, you basically want to make sure that you release it the second you see the red shell tracker come up, and you use your back camera, see when the red shell is coming, then release it. Don't drag it, because if you drag it, the red shell will hit the Bob-omb and hit you. So you want to make sure you just let go, hold L, let go of L right when you see the red shell coming towards you. So that way you keep going and you have protection for it. You can also place it in tight spots to also block people from passing you. I've done this before, and like great examples like Yoshi's Valley, the bridge, any tight bridges, any tight like little areas. You put a bomb in the middle there, literally they either get hit by the bomb or they slow down and wait. So it's a great pressure tooling. Honestly, I think it's stupid that first place gets this. I think only second and third should get it. The fact that first place get this item is really rough. You can also use it offensively. So if you're in second place and you want to bomb snipe someone, or back it on someone to basically keep people away from you. I've used bombs to basically negate triple reds before, or triple greens, or triple bananas, because essentially the bomb blast will explode other items around it. So you want to make sure, if you think someone's behind you's got a shit ton of triple something, just do that. The only thing I won't get rid of is I won't get rid of mushrooms. I won't get rid of bullet bill. I won't get rid of Piranha Plant. But it will get rid of the bomb blast. Will get rid of shells, bananas, and boomerang. It'll get rid of those. And technically some of the fireballs. And then also one thing about the bombs, if you throw it forward or when you drop it, it kind of like plops and depending on what's next to it, it either gets up and starts walking to the closest person, or it explodes immediately. It just depends on the proximity of someone you're at. So there's many clips of me where I toss a bomb and it goes into the sky and it bounces and then it hits someone later. That's because the first bounce, it wasn't next to someone, and then the second bounce, it was close enough to where it'll explode and it'll hurt that person. Key thing with Bob-omb is anytime you have any kind of like ramps or trick ramps, if you trick throw, you basically get a Hail Mary throw. It goes extra far. So you can throw a lot farther than you want. There's not really smart bouncing on this. It's sometimes you just throw and pray. So yeah, that's how bombs are great. They're probably 8 S tier for me. Miss the Lightning Cloud for Mario Kart. Well, yeah, I do as well. Okay, now on to mushrooms. Pretty normal description. Gives you a brief speed boost. Now mushrooms are obviously critical in getting shortcuts that you need a mushroom to go through. Many courses have those. Most people will either save them for shortcuts. I recommend always not using your mushrooms immediely. You want to just hold on to them, use them for a shortcut, or use them if you're in first place and you have a mushroom and a banana. Save it for the blue shell. Try to dodge it if you can. If you can't, you can always drop out and then mushroom it later. Or when I was getting used to dodging the blue shell and I wasn't good at mushroom dodging, I would just get hit and then you mushroom out. So it wasn't that bad of a loss of speed. So you can do whatever you want with that. But a key thing, if you're in like mid pack or back of the pack, you want to basically save your mushrooms to go through cuts, but also if you get hit, you can just use it to re-accelerate. So like a lot of times people are in the middle of the pack, they have a mushroom, they panic, they just use the mushroom. Don't do that. You want to just hold on to it, race normally, and then essentially if someone hits you or if you get hit or if you fall on something, you can just regain your speed pretty quickly. So it ends up being a nice way of kind of like holding your items a little bit more. So you don't want to just spam it immediately. Now, when it comes to triple mushrooms, you would think triple mushrooms is better than single mushrooms. I think they're both. I think it is a little bit better. Wait, can you dodge the blue shell with the mushroom? Yeah, you can. I just released a video today. We're making this video now, but I'm gonna link you this video about it. There you go. So triple mushrooms, they are theoretically better than single mushrooms. So the description is 3 mushrooms that spin around your vehicle plus L to use one of them for a brief speed boost. So they spawn 3, they spin around. A key thing to know about these triple mushrooms is obviously a lightning can get rid of them, but if a lightning happens and you have 2 mushrooms left, your 2 mushrooms will fall and you can pick up your 2 mushrooms off the floor and go. If you have 1 mushroom left, it's like a 50-50, but typically that mushroom just disappears. Or if you have 3 mushrooms, all 3 mushrooms spread out from the lightning. So you also want to keep that in mind. You don't want to use them all at once. You want to space them out. The reason why you also want to space them out is likely you're going to get booed if you have triple mushrooms. So if you have like triple mushrooms and then a star, it's better to use the 2 mushrooms, save that one last mushroom in case a boo does come, and then you want a mushroom, star, and 2 boxes, so that way that you don't get booed, you don't get shocked or whatever. It ends up being a little better of a play. Obviously, you want to also save them if you get hit or for cuts. But in general, you can also save them for blue shell dodges later on. But it's very rare that you would have 2 or 1 mushroom left if you get into first in a different lobby. But in general, that's how you use them. That's the best way to operate with them. Just look for cuts and just regain speed from getting hit. Now, golden mushroom. So golden mushroom description is for a short time allows you to use a mushroom every time you press L. So I personally hate golden mushrooms. I think the reason why is because I can't get rid of it fast enough. If you play with a lobby that's like equally skilled or higher skilled players, golden mushroom can be good to getting past. You know, obviously you want to use it for cuts. You want to get through people. You want to go through the line. You want to go off road, whatever. Certain levels it's really good, but the problem is that you are very vulnerable with a golden mushroom. You don't have any defensive item, so a red shell can get you, a shock can get you, a piranha plant can get you. You really you're just sitting there like just naked. So Honestly, when I get a golden mushroom, I wait till any kind of cuts, but I try to use it as fast as I can, and you just mash L to get rid of it as fast as you can. Or you can just wait, mash L once, and then wait a little bit because there's a little timer, and then you want to mash L for the cuts you want. But honestly, this specific item, if this pops up in your box, it's likely a shock is going to come out too, so you really want to go for the star rather than this. Ideally, you want a star then this, and then it becomes a lot better. So, yeah, that's the golden mushroom. I don't like it a lot. I actually think golden mushroom's worse than the triple. I think the triple's better than this, and I think it goes, this is better, this is as good, and this is the worst out of all of them. Okay, so now Bullet Bill. Bullet Bill, temporarily transform you into Bullet Bill, making you zoom automatically toward the finish line while knocking over any vehicle you make contact with. Simple concept, right? You've seen this before. You only get this in, I believe, 9th through 12th. Unless the map has like a cannon and it changes the way that things are. Now, there is a specific technique with bullet bills in certain maps, which I won't get into this video. I probably will get into another video, or you can find other videos about it. But I'll make another separate video later this week. Is that there are certain areas on courses that have something called a bullet bill extension, where essentially you use the bullet bill at a specific point in the map, and it will go farther than it should be. So, like, a great example is Yoshi's Circuit. You use a bullet bill at the waterfall area, whereas the water, like it's right after the first lap, the bullet bill won't stop until it gets you all the way around the Piranha Plants, and it'll stop there, no matter what placement you are. Because I've had it where I've literally have gone from 12th to 1st, and the shock happens, so you dodge everything. And that's on one course. There's other courses as well that does this, and it's a really weird like thing that happens with the bullet bills. But in general, if you get a bullet bill, a lightning bolt is also in play, so your shock is going to come out. So you want to make sure you use it at a good time, but you also want to make sure you use it before you get screwed over. So definitely a high tier item in my opinion. I put it in S. Okay. Now we go to the worst item in the game, and I hate this item with my passion. Getting this by itself absolutely sucks. So the Blooper. The description is, squirts ink on the vehicles ahead of you, briefly obscures the driver's views. So the thing is with Blooper is that it really doesn't do that much for you. It especially on levels that have like booster pads or water, because it just goes away. And like, or if anybody has mushrooms, it doesn't matter. If they're in stars, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't do anything for you. It's the worst item in the game by far. I wish it did something for you beyond just obscuring, because it randomly squirts ink on other people, and if someone's a good enough driver, they don't care. And sometimes the ink literally will block one dot on the screen, and you can still see through it. It doesn't even block the map. It doesn't even block your rear view camera. So it really doesn't do that much. Just use it. Pray you get a better item next time. It sucks. I hate the Blooper. Okay, lightning. This is probably the best item in the game. One of the best items in the game to get. Description is, strikes all opponents of lightning, causing them to lose their items. It also temporarily shrinks them, reducing their speed. Now this is great. This affects literally everybody on the map. That's not you. And unless they're in a star or in a boo, or in a bullet bill. Those are the only 3 ways that they can avoid it. So either a superstar, bullet bill, or boo is the only 3 ways someone can avoid your lightning bolt, or shock, people call it like that. So when you get this, a lot of times most like lower level people will just use it immediately. You don't want to do that. What you want to do is you want to wait, see where people are, try to remember where boxes are on the map. So ideally, once you race enough in certain courses, you'll remember, oh, at this turn, this is where item boxes are. The first 4 people already went. I'm going to use my shock now and destroy those people. Because ideally what you want to do is you want to punish the top pack. The middle pack, it's like you want to like look for dodges. You want to make sure you don't put a lightning bolt when like, if like 5 people are in like bullet bills and stars, yeah, don't do that. Don't put the lightning bolt. Like, but if you see no one in anything, and boxes just passed, oh yeah, you can mash that shit and go, because that's your opportunity. You won't know if someone's in a boo. Honestly, if you're hyper aware of the minimap and see that you're missing one person, which is like really hard when you're racing, then kudos to you. But in general, you just want to make sure you use it to punish the top of the pack. You also want to make sure you don't dodge people that are in bullet bills or stars. So be very careful where you use it. One of the best places to use it, if you really want to punish someone, is when they're in the glider. part of the section. So any part of the section of the course where there's a drop off, you want to use your shock to get that person. So if you feel like you want it, if you're in like a tournament or something, and you know that Waluigi Wiggler 234 is in lobby leader, and you want to get them, and you see their Waluigi's like gliding above the Sunshine Airport, bam, yeah, just get them down there. like it will shock them. It will make them lose 3 coins. They will fall and also lose another 3 coins and be small. So then they might lose another 3 coins by getting squished or getting hit. So like they lose 9 coins in total and a bunch of speed, and so they're screwed. So that's the best way to use it. There's also many other techniques you can do, but that's all I'm gonna say for now. All right, now Superstar, or people call it Star, makes you temporarily invisible, increases your speed. Any vehicle you hit will be knocked over. Pretty simple concept. You use it, you go dun 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 dun, you go hit people, all that stuff. Okay, so like in general, most people just use this immediately because they feel like that's what they gotta do. But ideally, what you want to do is hold on to it until you can get double boxes again, and then that way you're in a star. You get 2 boxes. You're already invincible with being in a star, and then you get 2 item boxes. Much better way to do that. Or use it on a cut area, so you can basically get your super mini turbos, ultra mini turbos, whatever, snake through an area. Like there's some courses that like stars would be fantastic, like Dry Desert. So it really is up to you. Honestly, I would not use it offensively. Like if you use it to like star troll someone, unless you like really wanted to hit them and you just wanted to make a point, I guess so. But in general, you want to use it is try to predict when the shock or lightning bolt comes out. Or just use it to get double boxes so you can like play with something else. So, all right. Next item is Fire Flower. Lets you throw fireballs. New illustration as well, but there's some spoilers. Okay. All right. Thank you, MVD. I will be careful. All right. So next item is Fire Flower. Lets you throw fireballs for any short time for a short time by pressing L. Any vehicle you hit will spin out of control. So the way that the Fire Flower works is it's in a timer, but also it has like units. So every time, so once the moment you press L, the timer starts, and the more times you press L, it will deplete. Now, most people will get a Fire Flower and they'll just spam in panic forward and back. The most optimal way to use this, honestly, for me, I don't spam it in front. I spam it behind me. Mostly because I just want to make sure anybody behind me doesn't hit me. If you're aiming at someone in front of you, the best way to do it is to pretend like you're playing a first-person shooter and you have a pistol, not an assault rifle, a pistol, and you just want to go bump, bump, aim, try to aim it. Hit, do bursts of like 2 or 3. Don't do like bursts of like a million. Do 2 or 3 bursts. Hopefully one of those 2 or 3 fireballs, kind of like Mario when he throws his fireballs, same kind of concept. 2 or 3, bum bum bum, and hopefully one of those 2 will hit what you want. Ideally, what you want to do is hit shells with this. What I go for is if there's someone in front of me and I know I want to pass them, if they're holding a red shell and they're dragging it, I'll try to hit the red shell and them. So I'll go with their lines, hit them both, then that'll protect me. And then if someone's throwing something behind me, I can just back these Fire Flowers so it can hit like a red shell behind me. Now the one key thing with Fire Flowers is it does run out. And another key thing is that if you're drifting at a churn, you can't back fireballs on the red shells properly. You have to stop churning because the red shell curves, the fires don't. So you can just get hit sometimes. It sucks, but that's what happens. But that's a Fire Flower. All right. Next is the Boomerang Flower. A lot of people call this Boomerang, but it's actually a flower boomerang. So the Boomerang can be thrown up to 3 times. Any drive that it hits will spin out of control. So if you get hit by a Fire Flower or Boomerang, you spin like you got hit by a banana. So it's not like a shell where you pop up. You just spin. So the Boomerang is great offensive and defensive option. When you get this, the best thing to do is to one, don't just use it immediately. Look around you. Look behind you. Look in front of you. If you see someone behind you have a red or a green shell or triple greens, back it once. Hopefully it hits them, gets rid of their items that they're dragging, and then you have two more hits with it. So then you can keep backing it if someone's trying to hit you. And the same concept with the Fire Flower is that you can't, if you're churning at an angle, you have to be very careful because the red shell could hit you because the Boomerang goes directly back and then it comes back at you. Now, key thing of the third hit goes in a straight line very similar to the green shell, but it travels farther and can hit multiple objects. So I've done it before where I had my last throw of the boomerang. I lined up in front of me. I had someone dragging a green shell, and then I had someone in first. And then I threw my boomerang, hit the person dragging the green shell, then it hits them, and then it keeps going, and then it hits first. That can happen a lot. You have to be very careful how you aim, but that's a huge risk. Ideally, you want to just keep it, and in case someone throws anything at you, just back it. Most people will back items in higher level lobbies. It's mostly because they're protecting themselves. So that's why I use a Boomerang Flower. Honestly, it's a really good item to get. It's undervalued. It can be broken. The only ways that the boomerang can be broken is if it clashes with another boomerang, if it hits a bullet bill, if it hits a Bob-omb blast, or if it hits or if a Piranha Plant eats it, and there's one more, or a Super Horn can get rid of it. So that's the only ways. That's not only, but that's the ways they can die. Okay, so now the Piranha Plant. This is not one of my favorite items in the game, but I recently learned something about it that I'm embarrassed I didn't know. So let's read the description. It attaches temporarily to the front of the vehicle when the Piranha Plant bites at something. The momentum of its lunge provides a slight speed boost. And it's not like a mushroom speed boost, it's just like a very, very, very tiny speed boost. Now, most people, when they get it, it does have a timer similar to Boomerang and Fire Flower. The upside of this is that it will eat anything in front of you, including carts, including shells, bananas, anything getting thrown back at you, fires, it will eat that. Now, you can mash L, or you can just hold down L, which I learned recently because I didn't realize that. But you can just hold down L and it goes a lot faster. So honestly, when I get this, I hold down L. I get rid of it as fast as I can because you have no protection behind you, so you're really vulnerable. You can dodge a red shell with this. The only way you can do that is you're holding L. You have to basically fish turn like you're freaking in Fast and Furious. Like, just, you fish turn it, and then like the Piranha Plant will eat the red shell. It's stupid, not worth it, honestly. You just get hit by the red shell, and then just hopefully you still have Piranha Plant mini boost and you keep going. I've done it before where I've used Piranha Plant to eat red shell, but it looks cool, but it really isn't that great because you lose so much momentum by doing the fishtail thing or doing it just doesn't work that much. What else? One other thing about this. The timer does go away at a certain amount of time. You want to be careful of that. You also want to be careful. The Piranha Plant is kind of stubborn. The Piranha Plant will eat anything on the floor as well, including a star. And it won't give you the star. It will eat the star or eat the mushroom. It's happened to me before where I'm racing. The Piranha Plant fucking eats a star falling on the ground, and you don't get the star. So you have to be careful if you see a star that's fallen from a shock, from a Crazy 8, or a mushroom that's fallen from like a barrel. The fucking thing will eat it, and then you don't get it. It's like, really? So you have to be careful of that. Like, it's kind of dumb, but that's the Piranha Plant. Super Horn. The Super Horn is super simple. Sends nearby vehicles and items flying with an ear-splitting honk. Okay, you only get this item, I believe, in first or second. It's very rare you get it in third. Essentially, you get it. It gets rid of the Spiny shell, blue shell, obviously. You want to save it. You want to save it for that if you're in first place. So ideally, the best way to use this, honestly, is to have a coin and then the Super Horn. So that way, in case a boo comes, it'll take the coin. Then you still have the Super Horn for the Spiny blue shell that's coming in. That's the best way that you can do it. And honestly, the only other way I'd use it offensively is if you're like mid-pack and you see someone have triple greens or triple reds, you want to get rid of it. You can slow down and slow Super Horn them, which is a technique in the game that people like to call it. It's not really toxic. It's just if you're trying to get rid of someone's items that have like a triple thing, it's a good way to do it. Crazy 8. Crazy 8 is one of the new items that was introduced in this game of Mario Kart 8 in 2014. Nice, 8 years ago. 8 items that orbit your vehicle. You press L to use one closest in front of at the moment. So it will rotate, as it says, Crazy 8. There's 8 items that will rotate. It will rotate a coin, a star, a Bob-omb, a mushroom, a banana. Oh fuck, a banana, a green shell, a red shell, I believe that's it, right? Is that the 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What am I missing? The fuck am I missing? Oh, and a blooper. Sorry, the most useless item in the game. That's the 8. It will rotate, and there's like a certain order to it. I don't remember the order, but the key thing with the Crazy 8 is you have 2 options. You either get it, panic, spam all your L items so you can get the star and go get the double, maybe dodge a lightning bolt, or you can take the really high risk thing, which I'll tell you the downsides in a minute, of holding onto your Crazy 8 because a Boo cannot steal a Crazy 8. That's the only item a Boo can't steal. So if you have, and you can time what item you use based on the rotations. You just know when it's rotating, you press L and you use the coin first, or use the bomb first, use the blooper first, whatever. You can save the star. Some people do that so that way that they can catch up ahead, save the star, dodge, hopefully, in hopes of doing that, and then they kind of go through. The biggest risk of that is that if you are not in any way protecting yourself from a shock, you can lose all your 8 items and your star. And they basically disperse, and the only way, and like you either slow down and you try to run it over, or you just keep going. Happens a lot in lower level lobbies. People lose their Crazy 8s because they either don't know what to do, or they get unlucky with the lightning bolt, and it gets rid of all of their stuff. So honestly, it's really up to you what you want to do. I sometimes just spam it just because I just want to get rid of it, because I know something bad is gonna happen. Okay, now next item is coin. Gives you 2 extra coins. The more coins you have, the faster you'll go. What it doesn't tell you is that for each coin, you get a maximum of 10 coins in the game, right? Each coin, your vehicle goes 1% faster. So if you have 10 coins, you go 10% faster. That's why you always want to go for maximum coins. Now you're thinking, what the hell? Why the hell is there a coin? Do I even need it in an item slot? So in my opinion, I think the coin's actually really good. I put it in a B tier. I'm actually probably gonna do a tier list after this, and I'll probably make it like the freaking whatever, the card of it. I'd put this in a solid B. The reason why is because if you have a single coin and that's your only item, your second item is guaranteed to be a defensive item, like a green shell, Bob-omb, banana, or red. So if you're in first place and you have a coin, just hold on to it, because once you pass an item box, you'll get a defensive item. And you also want to hold on to it because if a Boo comes, it'll take the coin instead of your banana or your super horn or whatever that you have to protect yourself. So that's the only reason why I think coins are good. I think coins should only be given to first place, but you can get a coin in second and third sometimes, and it sucks. It's really a shitty thing, honestly, when it happens. But all right, that's a coin. We already talked about feather earlier. I wish this was actually in the game for racing. This is only for battle mode. It would change the meta a lot if it was brought into if they passed that into racing. It'd be really fun too, because you can jump over. Because if there's a feather, you can jump over a boomerang. You can jump over a banana, a green shell, a red shell. I guess someone that has a star, you can jump over them. And jump over fireballs. Yeah, that's the only things you can jump over. I don't know if you can jump over super horn. I believe you can, but it's like when you land, you'll still get hit. Also, like, you can't use it to jump over a spiny shell, that's for sure. And then the last item in the game is a Boo. It's surprising wearing a Boo shirt. Because that's so boring. Yeah, they are, Brandon. So Boo, word description, makes your vehicle temporarily ghostly, allowing you to pass through bananas and shells. You might also steal an item from one of your opponents. I like how it says you might. You will steal an item from one of your opponents. They say might because if no one has items, I guess the game will give you a mushroom, I believe. But you always steal an item. It depends on what's in front of you. Yeah, most of the time you get a coin, but sometimes you can get something even better. So, when to use a Boo? Why is it good? A Boo basically is the perfect time to use it is if you are anticipating a lightning bolt to come out, or you just want to steal someone's item in front of you and you're hoping you get a really good one, not a coin. Honestly, for me, I always use the Boo. As soon as I see it in my item box, and I see it, I'm getting it in more item boxes, I use it immediately, hoping that whatever I get I can get rid of it before I get the double item box or another item box. So, you want to also use it. A key thing about the Boos and difference between Boo and the Star is a Boo, you actually can't, even though you're a ghost, you can't pass through solid objects. You can pass through bananas and shells and avoid stars, avoid Bullet Bill, avoid getting hit by any other item. But if you're on like Toad's Turnpike, you can't go through the cars. It's really fucking stupid. But yeah, you have to keep that in mind. Like, be careful if you use a boo, because that's happened to me the first time I ever used a boo in this game. And I was like, cool, I can go through the cars in Toad's Turnpike. No, dude, the fucking truck hits you in your back. You're like, why? I'm a ghost. Why can I go through this? But yeah, that's the boo. Ideally, you want to use it to dodge a lightning bolt. We'll do a tier list, not today. I'll probably do it off stream, and post it with the video itself. And like, this is what I say. Yeah, the boo doesn't let you go through cars. It'll let you go through other people and let you go through shells and items, but not physical objects in the game. So like, if there's a Goomba, you can't go through the Goomba. It's really weird. You can't even go through the train in in Super Bell Subway. It's a really awkward thing. But alright, so that in conclusion, that is all 23 items you can use in this game except the feather and racing. So sadly, it's just 22 items in racing wise. Hopefully they patch this in the Booster Course DLC patch. That'd be really fun to have it in. I feel like it would be way better, more useful than the Blooper. I hate the Blooper. The worst item in the game you can get is the Blooper, to be honest. The Blooper's worse than the coin. At least the coin is like, can like do something, give you a little bit of a speed boost, I guess, if you don't have enough 10 coins. Whereas the Blooper is just dumb. You missed towel blocks, yeah. But alright, I'm gonna end the video now. If you have any comments or suggestions and you're on YouTube, feel free to let me know. Remember to like and subscribe. We'll be pumping out more Mario Kart content with more tips and tricks as things go on. I stream live on Twitch, BearUNLV. And yeah, thanks again. Bye bye. Alright, hello, Twitch.